Is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Colder than average air and a lot of clouds. We had a high of only 59 in Charleston yesterday. 17 below average for that. Average high is 76. We'll have a dry start to the day. Some patchy frost in the higher elevation areas this morning and tonight. Be mindful of any patchy dense fog that may slow down your morning drive. Tomorrow, there is worth noting a slight chance of an isolated shower and thunderstorm. And then a few showers and storms are possible later for tomorrow night. Fly Sierra forecast, it starts at home. Orlando near 89 today, low to mid-90s for the Tampa area, so still heating up a little bit. Watching for some chances of showers and thunderstorms there. For northern areas, from Panhandle to Panhandle, got some 60s and 70s in here. We'll call it partly sunny. Some lingering passing clouds, likely dry today and tonight, with lows around 50 or so, upper 40s to low 50s. To the east, higher elevation spots, some areas of fog and frost to start the day. Highs still below average in the upper 50s and low 60s, and near 70 in eastern areas today. High elevation spots, some patchy frost is possible tonight locally. Elsewhere in the upper 40s to near 50. From east to west, some fog and frost to wake things up to the east. To the west, highs in the 70s today. Lows around 50 or so in western areas for you tonight. And down to the south, got some low to mid 70s in here. 60s as well to the east, and high elevation spots and lows to the west have us in the 50s. 52 in Charleston tonight. In the 7-day forecast, a slight chance of a storm tomorrow. Chance Saturday, then we get hot. 90s return, 97 Monday, 96 Tuesday, near some records for highs and warm lows. And then a pattern change with increasing moisture middle of next week. Some showers and storms look to be likely middle of next week, so we'll watch for the heat and then the potential storms in the long term.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Made it to a Friday. We have lots to get to this morning. Chris Stirewalt will stop by. We'll talk to Chief Justice Haley Bunn. And widespread voter fraud? It's not what you think. It is not at all what you think. Just hang with me. It's MetroNews Talkline. We are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Made it to a Friday. It's a steam release Friday, of course. Your chance to vent, get it all off your chest before the weekend. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. You can text the show, as always, 304-TALK-304. As I mentioned, coming up, we'll talk to State Supreme Court Chief Justice Haley Bunn about the life and career and legacy of Judge Copenhaver, who passed away this week. We'll talk to her later this hour. Second hour, Chris Stirewalt stops by. Get his take on national politics. What can we take away from the United Kingdom? We'll get into that. Steam release coming up as well. Back from his top secret assignment, TJ Meadows is in the Encova Insurance Studios in Charleston. And we'll get into TJ's commentary because he has data. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning. I didn't know it was top secret, so I'll be hush-hush about it. But it's good to be back. Good to join you again today after a special holiday with family yesterday. So
you put some numbers to the governor's scorecard that he had out on social media. We'll get into this coming up in just a little bit, but spreadsheets, indices, I believe is the plural correctly used.
Indices, yes.
Indices.
And walks do not count as hits in baseball. I'll
You
leave it
know,
at that. for
that
now.
was actually my favorite part of your commentary. The baseball metaphor worked for me today, TJ. It worked for me.
You're
And
welcome.
yes, my tease about voter fraud. It's a bait and switch tease, we call it in the business. Has nothing to do with actual elections. Just follow me here. We'll get to it in a little bit. Earlier this year, TJ, do you remember early January? We had our next guest actually on the program. Greg Thomas, GOP operative, GOP strategist, I like to call him, was on the show. Do you recall this conversation?
I do recall, I believe, yes.
This was when the Republican primary was still in question, whether or not it would be closed, whether or not it would be open to unaffiliated voters. And this is what Greg had to say back in January.
And then the last question we asked was like, okay, if they do this, right, and you don't vote in their primary, what are you going to do in November, right? Because what we've done for the last couple decades, and I know this because I've run statewide campaigns and state legislative campaigns. You know, I've overseen more campaigns in the last 25 years in West Virginia than any other Republican. Typically, you'll get 2/3 to 3/4 of independent voters to vote for you in the primary, and like almost all of them stick with you in the fall, right? Which is how we win elections in West Virginia, because we only have 40% registration. We were winning elections when we had like 25% registration because the independents were coming with us. And so now where, you know, I just told you 2/3 of of independents voted for Trump. Our survey said nearly 2/3 of independents surveyed say they are less likely or unsure if they will vote for Republican candidates in the general election if they're excluded from voting in the primary.
That's what he said back in January. Now, a couple of days after the primary election, we have some data. And Greg Thomas, a GOP consultant, worked with a slate of candidates in the primary election, joins us from the Cove Insurance Studios in Charleston. So, Greg, that's what you said back in January. Basically, if you shut out independents, they will find some place to express their opinions. Did they do that in the primary election?
They did it, not just 2/3 of which, they probably did it 90% of which. You know, in these in these nonpartisan judicial elections we just had, you know, you had certain candidates for court that ran campaigns geared toward Democrats and independents, right? And they sort of, you know, if you add them together, right? If you add Kirkpatrick and Faircloth together in the seat they ran for, they combined got 109,000 votes. Flanagan got 110,000 votes. Douglas got 111,000 votes. Well, let's go to the Republican, the people that campaigned as Republicans. Titus and Kirby together got 82,000 votes. Ewing in his seat got 82,000 votes. Greer got 78,000 votes. Shelley Moore Capito only got 79,000 votes, right? So, like, that 80,000 is about what Republicans got. There were only 90,000 Democrats that voted total in their U.S. Senate primary. So how do you get from 90 to 110? That's all the independents. You know, so the independents voted against us. I mean, you know, the independents had one outlet to vote against sort of Morrissey and his appointees or his endorsed candidates because he closed them out of the primary, and that was the judicial races. And did they? Right? I mean, we lost control of the judicial. And look, Democrats were fired up, right? Democrats came out and voted in a lot higher turnout. And then you had the gross out campaign, which I talked about a week or two ago on the show, you know, where they ran this really gross campaign and perverted campaign about transgender stuff and drag queens and boys and girls bathrooms and all this stuff that's issues that have been settled for 5 years that they wanted to rehash. And it kept turnout down, right? I mean, 2018 overall primary turnout in West Virginia was 320,000. In 2022, it was 260,000. In 2026, it's 250,000. And of the 250,000, Democrat turnout was up 10% more than 2022. I mean, so not only is like fewer Republicans are coming out to vote, and there's a smaller percentage of the overall primary vote is Republican. Yet all of us, like, it's a double whammy, like, and it's crazy.
Let me try to tie this together. Are you saying that those Republicans who wanted to close the primary to independents are responsible for Republicans losing?
100%. 100%. There's no way you can look at this primary. If you're an actual conservative, and I've been an actual conservative in West Virginia. The first race I ran was 2002, where most of the people that are, out here talking like they're all conservatives in West Virginia were Democrats back then. An actual Republican conservative. I've worked for I worked for 20 years to get a conservative court in West Virginia, and in one night it's wiped out because of these political games that these guys are playing. Closing the primary, running these gross out campaigns, running these radical agendas that these national special interests want us to run is killing us. Absolutely killing us.
Greg, as I look at this, credit, they spent a lot of money. AFP, Americans for Prosperity, they put boots on the ground. They got out there. Is this, do they deserve some credit here from going out and getting their people to the polls? They motivated them to get to the polls, didn't they? Or did they?
No, they didn't. they did in Wood County, right? They did in Wood County. Look, if you... These outside special interests spent $4 million to ensure the status quo was maintained in the legislature, because that's all that happened, right? They didn't win the state Senate. They just, incumbents won the state Senate, right? Takubo was by far their biggest target. There was $1 million spent in that race. Tom won by 12%. Morrissey and the AFP team and all that, those guys did a really good job in Wood County. They got their heads beat in down in Greenbrier County, though, right? So they won Wood. They lost Greenbrier. The rest of the state's essentially a wash. And even now, the state Senate presidency's still in play, right? You guys did an interview the other day with Eric Tarr, who said, they were all saying, oh, I guess Randy's going to be Senate president again. And Tarr said, wait a minute, not so fast. And if you remember from 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, it was Senators Eric Tarr, Amy Grady, Rupi Phillips, and Jason Barrett. They had their little coalition, and they went with Randy's team, right? They went and so the question now is, will they join the rest of the Morrissey puppets to keep this same leadership team in place?
Here's my other question to you. A lot of independents probably did not come out this time, so they haven't had a chance yet to express their anger. Do you believe they will do so in the general?
So here, that's a good segue to this next one. So in 12 of the 17 state Senate races, right? There's 17, state Senate districts.
Okay.
In 12 of those, the Democratic nominees or the total Dem votes were higher than the Republican vote totals.
And that means what?
That means that this fall there will be more Democrats and independents vote in at least 10, probably 12 or more state Senate districts. It would be totally insane to think that the Republicans are not going to lose 3, 4, 5 Republican state Senate seats this fall. Your head has got to be either in the sand or up something else for you to think that we're not going to lose. And that's not. I haven't even done the House side yet. And a lot of these folks that are losing, right? Like, one of the things that you always do as an actual conservative Republican is you look at it and say, how do we get the most conservative Republican we can through the primary so they can win in the fall? Mm-hmm. We elected whack jobs. A lot of that $4 million was spent on absolute whack jobs, and they lost a few of them, though, right? They lost a few in the House of Delegates. They got a scalp with Vernon Criss, and they got, Heckert was a problem for them. They got rid of him, but they lost 3 or 4 of their other really key people. I think some of their other key people are really in trouble this fall, right? And so the more radical, for them to think, this is what we said. I appreciate you, giving me that clip or replaying that clip from my interview back in January, where I was right. I have a feeling we'll be replaying this clip in November, right? We're going to be replaying this clip in November. And we told them that this was going to happen. We told them it. They acted like, oh, well, maybe that'll happen 5 years from now. It happened 5 months from then. 5 months from then. And this, and I know, I read your thing, and, I don't know when you're going to talk about your batting average thing, but the reality is, as you talked about, right, you take out the uncontested races, mm-hmm. You add in the court races, you add in the U.S. Senate race where they were against Shelley Moore County.
You don't think he batted 767?
I think it's barely 50%. You got to add in all the actual races, man. You got to add in the court races. You got to add in the other stuff. What Titus didn't run is, Titus and Ewing didn't run as Morrissey appointees, but they knew they were, right? The Democrats and independents did it. I mean, heck, Dan Greer got caught up in it through no fault of his own, right? I mean, Dan Greer ran a big campaign, worked his tail off, known quantity. And you saw the numbers there. There was nothing he was going to be able to do. The Democrats and independents came and said, we're not going to stand for this. And for some reason, the Republican Party, 50% plus one of the Republican Executive Committee said, oh, that I'm not worried about what those people say. I don't care what they say. We're here to do the groundwork for this national out-of-state special interest agenda, no matter what you say, because they pay for a few lunches and they pay us to go door to door, and that's, by God, that's what we're going to do. Well, you know what the consequence is? We lost the judicial system in West Virginia, which was the first thing that conservatives got control of here in West Virginia. We didn't go do the legislature in 2004 and 8 and 10. We did the court. Why? Because it's the most important branch of government. That's why we did it. It still is. And now we don't have it. You're going to go around and act like we had a big victory on Tuesday night? We lost a branch, one of the 3 branches of government we no longer have. Conservatives got our teeth kicked in on Tuesday. Absolutely kicked in. It's embarrassing what they did.
TJ, put your blood pressure monitor on Greg for us, would you please?
It's just, I spent 20 years doing it, guys. And we'll watch it unravel for this stuff. It's crazy.
Greg Thomas is joining us, GOP consultant, had worked with, for lack of a better description, the Team Tacubo slate. Greg,
Team West Virginia slate.
I know you call him Team West Virginia. We called him Team Tacubo for lack of a better description, Greg.
Well, I have a better description.
Well, okay, so what do you say to the folks who are listening right now going, well, he's just upset because his guys didn't win all their races?
Look, that was a wash. The Senate stuff's a wash. Mm-hmm. I've won a bunch of races before. I've lost a bunch of races before. Tuesday night on the state legislature's a wash. I'm not upset. How can you be upset about a wash? You didn't win. You didn't lose. It's just a wash. You go redo it again. Whatever. It's a wash as of today. But what happens when the Democrats pick up some seats in the fall, which they're going to do? Then it's not a wash, is it? Then it's not a wash. This judicial thing has been a focus of mine for 25 years, and they just undid it, and I don't know why. Why? What did we get out of it? We traded the judiciary for a wash in the state legislature.
Let me ask you this: you got a thick skin. I know you can handle it. Texter says you didn't pick good candidates. What do you say to that?
When you have these numbers. Mm-hmm. 110, 109, 110, 111, 82, 82, 78. That's not about candidates. That's the kind of thing that happens in the fall when you have wave elections. I'll tell you what, I know most of the people that are in our state Senate now were Democrats back in 2006, but I remember I talked to a really very conservative person this morning, longtime Republican, who says, I feel nervous about this fall like I did in 2006. We ran 36 races and we won 2 in the legislature. 2 of 36. There was nothing you could do. It was the worst election in 50 years for Republicans. We had good candidates, we had bad candidates. It didn't matter. When you have that's the thing people have to understand. When it's not about local candidates. When the Democrats and independents joined forces and just said, I don't care who these people are. I don't care who they are. This is their team. I'm against them. You knew this. You heard the clip from the beginning. There's just times when this happens. Ewing, Titus, Dan Greer, wrong place, wrong time. I don't think either of those guys could have won with $2 million campaigns. There was nothing they could do. Democrats and independents came out and voted against them. Didn't matter who it was.
Greg, we're up against the clock. Got to take a break. Take a deep breath. Big deep breath. We appreciate you coming in this morning.
I vented a little bit there, guys. I'm sorry about that, but I appreciate the opportunity as always.
Don't worry. It'll be up on social media later. We appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
Greg Thomas, GOP operative, and again had worked with he calls them Team West Virginia. We called them Team Tacubo. Got to take a break. TJ, put some numbers to the gut feelings we were having. We'll talk about that next.
kids deserve care that's as specialized as they are. At WVU Medicine, Golisano Children's Pediatric Urology, we treat everything from urinary tract issues and kidney problems to bladder and genital conditions with expertise and compassion. Our team uses advanced techniques designed for growing bodies so your child gets the best care possible. Call 855-WVU-CARE to schedule an evaluation or visit WVUkids.com.
Every day across West Virginia, healing happens here, where skilled hands and caring hearts save lives. West Virginia hospitals are more than places of care. They are lifelines for our communities. Employing nearly 54,000 people, hospitals power local economies and help communities not just survive, but thrive. During National Hospital Week, we recognize those who care for us all, because healing happens here, and its impact reaches everywhere. A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association.
In West Virginia, community is everything. It's about showing up for each other. Vin Salango and the team at Salango Law don't just work here, they live here, proudly sponsoring local events and giving back to the neighborhoods they love. So when you're facing a serious injury, trust the local team that's always in your corner. They spent over 25 years fighting for West Virginia families. Salango Law. Get results, not excuses. Visit us at salangolaw.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
5, 3.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop.
I would imagine a group of you got together and watched the Mountaineers last night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was funny, we were sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
We'll get to TJ's data coming up next segment. We're a little tight on time here, so let me clear this up, TJ, as I got many of you wound up when I used the trigger words voter fraud. I'll be filing a complaint with the Secretary of State's office later today. I have, on good sources, that there was a glut of mail-in ballots from the Logan area that came in for the West Virginia Broadcasters Hall of Fame balloting that pushed Dave Allen into the Hall of Fame. I've got it on good sources, TJ, and I'll be filing a formal complaint to investigate this clear voter fraud that got Dave Allen into the Hall of Fame. Mail-in ballots from the Logan area. Got it on good sources. Logan area mail-in ballots. We're going to look into this. We're going to get to the bottom of it, TJ.
Well, you do it because you care. I hope people understand that. You do it because you care.
Yesterday, Dave Allen, it was announced, was part of the 2026 West Virginia Broadcasters Hall of Fame class. And yes, my favorite pastime is needling Dave Allen. But make no bones about it, he is a true radio guy. He has spent nearly 4 decades on the air. Logan County, now in Charleston, he's been a jock, he's been an announcer. He rides in parades. They probably dressed him up in a costume at some point and stuck him out at some weird remote. That's what we do in this business.
Does it all.
And he has been just as good as anybody in this business, can do anything in radio. And I actually truly, brief moment of sincerity here, have a ton of respect for Dave Allen, the work that he does, and he truly deserves this honor, even if it took massive voter fraud from Logan County to get him into the Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Actually, I kid because I care. Truly, congratulations, Dave. And just don't tell anybody I ever said that.
Echo that. What a pro. What a pro.
This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Colder than average air and a lot of clouds. We had a high of only 59 in Charleston yesterday. 17 below average for that. Average high is 76. We'll have a dry start to the day. Some patchy frost in the higher elevation areas this morning and tonight. Be mindful of any patchy, dense fog that may slow down your morning drive. Tomorrow, there is worth noting a slight chance of an isolated shower and thunderstorm, and then a few showers and storms are possible later for tomorrow night. Fly Theater forecast, it starts at home. Orlando near 89 today, low to mid-90s for the Tampa area, so still heating up a little bit. Watching for some chances of showers and thunderstorms there. For northern areas, from Panhandle to Panhandle, got some 60s and 70s in here. We'll call it partly sunny. Some lingering passing clouds, likely dry today and tonight, with lows around 50 or so, upper 40s to low 50s. To the east, higher elevation spots, some areas of fog and frost to start the day. Highs still below average in the upper 50s and low 60s, and near 70 in eastern areas today. High elevation spots, some patchy frost is possible tonight locally. Elsewhere in the upper 40s to near 50. From east to west, some fog and frost to wake things up to the east. To the west, highs in the 70s today. Lows around 50 or so in western areas for you tonight. And down to the south, got some low to mid 70s in here. 60s as well to the east, and high elevation spots and lows to the west have us in the 50s. 52 in Charleston tonight. In the 7-day forecast, a slight chance of a storm tomorrow. Chance Saturday, then we get hot. 90s return, 97 Monday, 96 Tuesday, near some records for highs and warm lows. And then a pattern change with increasing moisture middle of next week. Some showers and storms look to be likely middle of next week. So we'll watch for the heat and then the potential storms in the long term.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's
me too.
a great point. Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for 3 Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
Couple of texts here, 304 Talk 304. As long as the Democratic Party stays on path of crazy, they do not need to be running the government. President Trump has given the tools to become a successful nation in the present and future. Let's all get hurt over something that matters. We don't need another Biden-Harris faction or similar. Yes to term limits. We will get there, or maybe I'm getting old. Greg Thomas is right. The state Senate races were a wash, which means conservatives remain firmly in control. Thomas, the chamber, Shelley Capito, and the hospital groups should have focused on the courts instead of attacking conservative Republicans. Big losses for people who claim to care about our legal environments. This texter just says, oh, so no, I keep it real, bro. Dave's right. Quit calling and quit saying Team Takubo. Most of us don't even know him. Greg, I mean. I guess we don't know Greg. 304 Talk 304. Voter fraud. I was making a joke. Sorry. Another thought on the closed primary. Those independents would have voted for fake Republicans in the primary and might have voted for fake Republicans in the general. Maybe the divide in the Republican Party is because of left-leaning independents. I don't care either way. I hate both sides, says the texter. All right, we'll get to some more of the text coming up. Steam release an hour from now. Over at WVMetroNews.com this morning, Mr. Meadows, while he was on his top secret, highly confidential assignment yesterday, actually tried to put some numbers to the results that we saw. And by numbers, trying to figure out, was it a win? Was it a wash? Who won? Who lost? What did you come up with, Mr. Spreadsheet?
So I took a look after the governor posted on Facebook. He had a nice graphic talking about the victory, claiming victory after the election, citing a 767 batting average. I think that would get somebody into Cooperstown, by the way, Dave. Don't you think that would get them there? Yeah. I think that would probably do it. 767, my goodness. I took a look at the structure and who he endorsed and who he didn't, and developed a point system. So here's the deal. You get 1 point plus one for each uniquely endorsed candidate who wins. That means you only get a point if you are the only politician who endorsed that candidate. If both factions put their rubber stamp on a person, what's the point? You don't get anything, right? No points awarded for that. -1 point for each uniquely endorsed candidate who loses. And oh, by the way, if you're running unopposed, same thing. An endorsement for a candidate who's running unopposed does nothing. We are trying to get to the bottom of who has political stroke and influence here, who can move an election, who doesn't. So, Senate results. Morrissey endorsed 12 candidates in the Senate. One candidate ran unopposed. That leaves 11 races. Net result, 8 wins, 3 losses for a score of +5. Give the governor his due here, right? Kept control of the Senate. It's a wash, but he didn't lose it. Give him his due here. The House is much more telling. Morrissey endorsed 31 candidates in the House. 10 ran unopposed. Can't count that endorsement. One candidate had multiple factions. Both sides of the fence endorsed that candidate. That leaves 20 competitive races. 11 wins, 9 losses for a net score of +2. The governor is going to have an extremely tough time in the House, period. +2 doesn't get it done. It doesn't move the House over to be able to move your legislative agenda at a +2. Further evidenced by the fact, and I believe you talked with Amelia Nicely yesterday on this program, if I'm correct, while I was gone, Roger Hanshaw is not a guy who reacts. He responds. A reaction is off the cuff, boom, boom, boom. A response is well thought out, articulated, intentional. That's what Roger Hanshaw does. He does not say that we will remember unless he knows he has the room with him, period. And he's got the support of his caucus. I talk with people in the House, and what they tell me is this. Members are not afraid of the fact that Heckert was targeted, that Chris was targeted, that Riley was targeted, and that 2 lost. They're not afraid that they could be next. They are instead motivated and rallying for retribution. And what will that retribution look like? I guess we'll see when it comes session time. But Dave, the bottom line is this, as I alluded to earlier. Walks are not hits. They're not. So you can't count them on your average. And judging by responses to this Facebook post, I think West Virginians know two things very well. They know the rules of baseball, and they know the rule of politics. They're not confused by either.
Love the baseball metaphor. And let me take your baseball metaphor one step further. When the New York Yankees have the highest payroll in baseball, or the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they don't win the World Series, ownership's not happy about that. George Steinbrenner was not happy to have the highest payroll in baseball and then get beat in the divisional series, right? My point is $4 million, close to $5 million was poured. I guess you're counting both the PACs there, but about $4 million, right? Poured into this election by Morrissey, associated political action committees, and independent expenditure groups.
Mm-hmm.
Did you expect a wash? $4 million and you preserved the status quo? I don't know that I would be happy with that result if I were the ownership in this metaphor. You poured all this money into the Republican primary, and the best you have accomplished is the status quo. And look, TJ, we haven't talked about, I know we're only 2 days out from 3 days out from the primary election. November's not a guarantee. And I don't look, I'm not saying I think Democrats can come in and flip majorities. I don't think that can happen. But certainly, I have said it multiple times the last few days. If I'm Mike Pushkin, chair of the state Democrat Party, I'm feeling really good right now. I'm feeling really good heading into November. And if that is going to be the result of my investment, if I'm one of these outside interest groups that poured money, I'm not going to be happy with that. I'm not going to. What have you done? What have you gained by all this investment? A wash?
Well, and how did you
an
harm
angry
me?
Legislature. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, and we haven't gotten to this much either. But if Greg's point holds, that this is now a liberal court, that remains to be seen. I mean, the leanings, people are seeing it that way. Let's just go with that assumption, that it's now 3-2 liberal leaning. If that is the case, what's the big issue at the legislature? It's school choice. School Freedom Fund put in like $1 million to make sure that school choice is not rolled back in any shape, any fashion, any form, to quote our former governor. Are they happy that now you've lost the court? If this ends up an issue of constitutionality of the Hope Scholarship, think of that political narrative.
Well, not just that. What about who is in control of the State Board of Education?
Exactly.
In fact, that is going to be in front of this court at some point. So,
I mean, it's a mixed bag, and I don't think anyone can outright claim victory here with this piece. I don't think you can come out and say, "Look, I batted 767." No. And honestly, the other part I didn't get into, Dave. Most indexes like these, when you see them around Washington and other places, a win for an incumbent is not counted as high as a win for a newcomer. Incumbency has an advantage. So oftentimes you'll see 0.5, 0.75. I didn't want to say what was fair or what's not. Readers can decide. But if you further diluted a win because of incumbency, it would be even closer than what it is on the net scores.
Your thoughts at 304 Talk 304. We got to come up with a better nickname for you. The data. I like the data. I like was it an indices? Am I saying that right? Indices? I should know the plural of index, right?
Yeah, indices. That's exactly right. Look, man, data cuts through crap. Data cuts through crap. And that's why I like data. Now, if you want to argue, somebody wants to call in and talk about how maybe they perceive the data different, we can have that discussion. That's fine. But data is a way to cut through the crap, and that's what I'm trying to do here.
You can read the commentary over at WVMetroNews.com. I feel like I should have had a whiteboard for this segment. I feel like it could have been helpful.
I need an electronic whiteboard that pops up on the screen for That's write that down. We need that.
You need the thing the guy. What's the guy on CNN?
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking
stands,
about.
Yeah, he stands. And
you need one of those deals.
Attention management.
Coming up, we'll take a break from election talk. When we come back, we'll talk to Supreme Court Chief Justice Haley Bunn. Judge John Copenhaver passed away this week at the age of 100. We'll talk about his life and legacy next.
America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life!
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Bellevue Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The region's largest restoration firm, responding from 5 locations. When disaster strikes your home or business, call Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
At WVU Medicine, our board-certified general surgeons perform more than 2,500 procedures a year. They use advanced, minimally invasive techniques and robotic-assisted technology to reduce recovery time and improve outcomes. From complex procedures to routine care, We're leading the way with precision and expertise right here in West Virginia. Call 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvmedicine.org. Earlier this week, West Virginia lost a legal legend, Judge John Copenhaver. A legend on the federal bench in West Virginia passed away at the age of 100. He had remained active as a senior U.S. district judge, and at the time of his death, Copenhaver was the last actively serving district judge appointed by President Gerald Ford. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning is State Supreme Court Chief Justice Haley Bunn to talk about the life and legacy of Judge Copenhaver. Justice Bunn, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dave. Hey, TJ. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. When you think of Judge John Copenhaver, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, I'll tell you honestly, at first I get a few little butterflies in my stomach because appearing in his courtroom was something that you absolutely had to fully prepare for. But then that is quickly met with just a warm regard for how much care that he took for practitioners, litigants, juries. He was so amazing with the jury, and just fond memories of the wonderful times I had in his courtroom, for sure.
Madam Justice, I've been reading more about him, and one of the things that keeps popping up is his meticulous nature, especially when it came to written opinions. Talk about why that made him a great judge.
He just had this uncanny ability to not only to be able to fully explain every point of law, but just to cover every base. Even if, frankly, the parties in front of him didn't argue everything, he would make sure that the record was so clean. And I think that's, seen in his extremely low overturn rate. I think it was at about 2%, which is unprecedented over his decades on the bench. He was just, he covered every base. He made sure that every nook and cranny was addressed. And it made you feel almost safe in front of him as a practitioner. You knew it was going to be right, whatever the outcome.
State Supreme Court Chief Justice Haley Bunn joining us on Metro News Talkline. Everybody we encounter in our careers, we take a little piece of them and maybe we apply it to how we do our jobs. Did you take something from Judge Copenhaver?
Absolutely, so many different things, but I would say the most important was to take absolute pride in your work, to do your absolute very best with every case. Every case is important, and every person involved in those cases is important. But while you're doing a good job and taking pride in your work, you're also being gracious to the people in front of you. He had never said an unkind word. But now I will tell you, a few times he would look at me and say, "The court is dubious." And I would just, oh no, I've gotten something wrong. But that was as stern as he would get. But he would make sure that you got it right in such a gracious, kind way. And I hope that I can emulate that just a little bit on the bench and in the written word, just a little bit.
I was reading 1976, he was confirmed by Gerald Ford. Senate confirmed him within days.
Yeah.
That stuck out to me. I mean, that just doesn't happen anymore. Is part of that reason because they don't make them like Copenhaver anymore, or is that, part of the process has gotten so convoluted these days? But just your thoughts on the fact that, this is a gentleman who crossed eras, if you think about it. The changes in this country while he was on the bench, that in and of itself is staggering.
Absolutely amazing. Well, it's probably a multifaceted reason, but John Copenhaver was one of one, and there will never be another like him. He was just amazing in all the ways, so smart, so gracious. And like I said, even if you were losing in front of him, you knew he got it right. So he just was amazing. My most recent encounter with him was when he was gracious enough to swear me into my full 12-year term here on the court. And what really stuck out to me, he was already 99 at that point, and I sent him the oath a couple days before he swore me in, and he took the time to swear me in. He didn't have a piece of paper in front of him. He had memorized the oath, which is not the typical one that he would have been given to, federal employees or federal folks. So, just his attention to detail and memory was amazing.
State Supreme Court Chief Justice Haley Bunn. Justice, thank you for taking a few minutes to share some memories of Judge John Copenhaver, who passed away this week, age 100. Thank you very much, Justice.
Thank you. See you soon.
I see you as well. Chief Justice Haley Bunn. Got to take our final break and wrap up hour number 1. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life!
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? Odd times it may be both. The Bellevue Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $86 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $251 million. So go ahead, play today. Let's get a couple of texts in while we've got a minute. Not sure why Greg Thomas is blowing a gasket, because if the court is now liberal, it's just going to keep him busy with his work with CALA, says the texter. Micro and macro voters are fed up with high prices, bad air and water, and don't want forced data centers. So let me get this straight. TJ is now data, like the android guy on Star Trek Next Generation. We would have to consult our good friend and friend of the show, Stephen Allen Adams, to confirm such things there. Steve, he's our Star Trek expert. So Data, you cool with Data? You want to be...
I mean, I'm a Trekkie. I like... I'm probably not as big a Trekkie as Adams, but, I mean, Data was a good character, yeah. But no, I'm not him.
Let's see. 304 Talk 304. A walk is a man on base. For him, who cares? What is there to be afraid of? Look at education. Areas that spend the most per student often have the poorest results. Throwing money at something doesn't always work. By the way, TJ is emotional. I've called you a lot of things, TJ. Emotional is not one that comes to mind.
Yeah, look, a walk is a man on base, but that crew wasn't playing Moneyball. They paid more than the other guy. That only works if you pay less. They weren't playing Moneyball, so that doesn't hold.
Nice Billy Bean reference, by the way.
I try.
And this texter sends us a link to a digital whiteboard used in classrooms. Thank you. Best audience in radio. Mm-hmm. This is MetroNews Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Colder than average air and a lot of clouds. We had a high of only 59 in Charleston yesterday. 17 below average for that. Average high is 76. We'll have a dry start to the day, some patchy frost in the higher elevation areas this morning and tonight. Be mindful of any patchy dense fog that may slow down your morning drive. Tomorrow, there is worth noting a slight chance of an isolated shower and thunderstorm, and then a few showers and storms are possible later for tomorrow night. Fly Sierra to forecast. It starts at home. Orlando near 89 today, low to mid-90s for the Tampa area, so still heating up a little bit. Watching for some chances of showers and thunderstorms there. For northern areas, from Panhandle to Panhandle, got some 60s and 70s in here. We'll call it partly sunny. Some lingering passing clouds, likely dry today and tonight, with lows around 50 or so, upper 40s to low 50s. To the east, higher elevation spots, some areas of fog and frost to start the day. Highs still below average in the upper 50s and low 60s, and near 70 in eastern areas today. High elevation spots, some patchy frost is possible tonight locally. Elsewhere in the upper 40s to near 50. From east to west, some fog and frost to wake things up to the east. To the west, highs in the 70s today. Lows around 50 or so in western areas for you tonight. And down to the south, got some low to mid 70s in here. 60s as well to the east, and high elevation spots and lows to the west have us in the 50s. 52 in Charleston tonight. In the 7-day forecast, a slight chance of a storm tomorrow, chance Saturday, then we get hot. 90s return, 97 Monday, 96 Tuesday, near some records for highs and warm lows. And then a pattern change with increasing moisture middle of next week. Some showers and storms look to be likely middle of next week. So we'll watch for the heat and then the potential storms in the long term.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Hour number 2, MetroNews Talkline steam release coming up less than 30 minutes from now. Your chance to vent heading into the weekend. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. 800-765-8255. You can text the show at 304-TALK-304. We appreciate you listening in on our great radio affiliates across the state, or if you're watching on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Sophia Wasik, our audio producer today, she's also handling phones at 800-765-TALK, and Jake Link on the video stream. TJ is in the Charleston studios, at Charleston Cova Insurance Studios. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, sir. I saw on the return trip from China, apparently many of the delegation traveling with the president, they were given badges, pins. I don't know. Maybe those were security things. Who knows? Whatever. But apparently when boarding Air Force One, there was a burn bag right as you got on, and they dumped them in the burn bag. I would have saved them and used the opportunity to say, funny things about Xi Jinping's mama that the Chinese could hear in the listening devices. But yeah, apparently there was a big burn bag. They gathered them all, and there you go.
I think they had to use burners, so they weren't allowed to take their cell phones.
Yes,
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, burner cell phones. Yeah. Smart.
Well, I guess you can't be too cautious when you head over there.
Well, we probably do the same thing. I mean, let's be honest. But, yeah.
Well, let's bring into this kind of awkward conversation Chris Stirewalt, politics editor for the Hill News Nation, host of the Hill Sunday on News Nation. He's a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Hey, Chris. Good morning.
What's happening with Baby Dog?
I think Baby Dog's okay. Is there something happening with Baby Dog? Have we missed breaking news?
It has been reported. Senator Justice has told the Capitol Press Corps that Baby Dog had minor surgery to remove a cyst. These are unconfirmed Baby Dog related reports, and that she is expected to make a full recovery and return to her Senate duties. Wow. Just looking for the kind of on the ground reportage on which I have come to rely from you, gentlemen.
You're breaking news here, Chris. We've been so wrapped up in election coverage, we had no idea Baby Dog had a procedure.
Yeah, exactly. You're letting your listeners down. You're letting the state down. You're letting America down by not giving us the latest Baby Dog related information.
I'm looking at it right now. Here's the video. They're talking. He's explaining. Yeah, man. I tell you, take one day off for your kid's field trip, and you're just kind of screwed.
Exactly. Who will rule West Virginia once if Baby Dog is gone? So this is an essential. The Baby Dog supremacy demands constant coverage.
Well, I know what we're talking about Monday on the show. I know what we're leading with at 10:06 on Monday, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Stirewalt joining us.
If you won't do it for me, do it for Baby Dog.
So, Chris.
Nice. No, that did not go right over anyone's head.
Uh-huh. Right there, buddy. Right there. Reading your column this week, I thought there was a lot of principles that could probably apply to our situation here within the state. But what does the UK's politics have to do with our politics here that should be a warning sign to all the above?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Well, let me try to stitch together that and today's whole hog politics, which is we have a dissatisfied, angry electorate. 77% of Americans say that they believe that the United States system needs either a teardown or radical reform. And 80% or so of Americans say that they think democracy is in some form of crisis. And if you are part of the governing third, which is really now like 40% of the country of people who don't affiliate with either party, you look at what's going on in Washington. Just the question is our democracy in crisis? Well, both parties say that it is. And then both parties are spending lots of money and lots of time to try to make sure that the House is not representative right now. Right. So the House of the urgent, expensive work that both of these parties are engaged in for midterms principally has been around making sure that the House of Representatives is not representative of the people of the United States. And you can say, if you're a Republican, the Democrats started it years ago. If you're a Democrat, you can say Republicans started it in Texas this cycle. Fine. But if you're neither a Republican nor a Democrat, you are looking at a political system that is right now very much arranged around and engaged in the idea of making sure that democracy does not work. Right, that the House of Representatives is not representative, and it would be reasonable to conclude that the system is broken, and it would be reasonable for normal people to conclude that democracy is in some kind of crisis, and that means that the level of dissatisfaction that is bubbling up in this country, the amount of frustration that's bubbling up in this country, is reaching a point that could overrun the banks of the stability of a two-party republic. The advantage of a two-party republic, there are many advantages in a two-party republic if the two parties are functional. Ours are not functional, but the imagined advantage is stability, right? Is the principal imagined advantage. So we have instability, and we have a constant, I heard it said, and I think this is very true, that if you're a partisan, you're looking at the pendulum swinging back and forth right to left, and that the vibe shifts this way, and then the vibe shifts that way. And now we're doing this, now we're doing that. But if you're one of the plurality of Americans who is not affiliated with either party, you see the pendulum swinging just toward you, right? The politics just gets more intense. The seesaw goes back and forth between extremes. And it's encroaching more and more on your life and your ability to do what you need to do. It lacks predictability. It lacks all of that stuff. So we have more and more people drop out of these two terrible parties, and more people who are watching a political system that seems like it is unraveling itself. And I use the example of what happened in Britain, the United Kingdom, sorry, Sorry, Northern Ireland. Didn't mean to leave you out. But what happened was, instead of the inevitable victory that Democrats are just a wreck and they're a mess. They're going to benefit from the failures of the manifold, multifaceted, and constant failings of Republicans since they have taken unified control. Democrats will benefit from it because they are the only other option. What happened in Britain was that voters said, we will not go. So the analog to the Republicans in Britain is the Conservative Party, the Tories, which could be called sort of the center-right party. But it wasn't the Tories who advantaged in the British version of midterms. It was the formerly UKIP, now Reform Party, the Brexit Party, a farther right party, which doesn't mean the same thing in Britain as it does in the United States. But that party, and then on the left, Labour lost seats to the Greens, who are the radical, we think of them sort of as the democratic socialists of Britain. So the voter revolt that played itself out across Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England was of people rejecting everybody. And Americans are very much of a mood to reject everybody. And I would just, to dovetail it in with what I wrote about for today, we also have a woefully miseducated and undereducated electorate that is increasingly incapable of demanding and preserving effective self-government. That's a cheery Friday for you. We're hurtling toward idiocracy, and our two main parties are locked in a seesaw battle of who gets to hold the hot potato as things fall apart.
You talk about the pendulum coming at you for that mass of Americans. When do they reach out and grab it and take it back? Or is it a wrecking ball that will crush them if they try to do that?
Well, but that's my point about what happens when you let your educational system fail.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of reasons that we can, and we've talked about them here week after week, and we've talked about the need to expand the House of Representatives. We've talked about the perils of people living in media bubbles where they only get to taste their own home cooking. We've talked about how idiotic the primary system as we have is. There are all of those things, but those are not the underlying problem. The underlying problem is that Americans are worse and worse and worse educated, and that you cannot. The quote that I used from Thomas Jefferson is that, and I'm going to talk slowly so I can pull it up. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. And the reason that these folks, there are a lot of reasons why these folks can't get a hold of that pendulum. But if people don't know what the government is for, they don't know our history, they don't know civics, and they're not able to govern their own lives, then we will be tyrannized, right? If you cannot regulate yourself, if you cannot control yourself, then someone will control you. The necessary first element of liberty is self-governance. And when you look at that new report about the state of America's schools and the quality of education, we can say the pandemic, we can say screens, we can say teachers unions, we can say insufficient funding.